Warning: this video contains spoilerly material of the book that is being reviewed, as it is part of a reread series. If you do not want to be spoiled for this book or this series in general, please click away. Otherwise, please enjoy the video. Hey, what's up you guys, The Curious Owl here, and today I have a very short review for a very short story today, and that is for the novella Dream Dark by Garcia and Margaret Stohl. This is a spin-off novella that is between books 2 and 3 of Beautiful Creatures and focuses solely on Wesley Lincoln, or as he is better known as, Link. So this novella takes place just after the events of Beautiful Darkness, where Link has essentially been transformed into an incubus, and this 6-chapter novella essentially dictates how he transforms and how he starts to transition into being now part incubus. Essentially, he's considered a quarter incubus because the incubus that had actually turned him in Beautiful Darkness, John Breed, was only half, and because he had bitten Link at the very end of Beautiful Darkness, he is now going to be a quarter incubus. That's kind of how that works. This novella really highlights a lot of these skills and abilities that Link is able to develop over the course of his life now that he is part incubus, such as the fact that he develops such incredible strength. He's unable to eat mortal foods without feeling sick, and he is able to now feed by basically listening in on people's dreams and take his nutrition somehow from that. There is also a slight focus on the family relations and dynamics with the Lincoln family between Link, Mrs. Lincoln, and Mr. Lincoln. You really get to see how Mrs. Lincoln is an ornery old bat who is very stuck in her ways, is incredibly religious, and literally does not take no for an answer from her own son. And Mr. Lincoln is a man who you realize is very, very passive about a lot of things. He does not really want to upset his wife at all, and he literally will do anything she will say in order to keep her off his back. There also is a very, very slight focus on the relationship between Link and Ridley, which was kind of established in Beautiful Creatures and then kind of was back and forth in Beautiful Darkness. It essentially just kind of retells a lot of these same things about their relationship, how it's very back and forth, without really delving much further into that. So in terms of whether or not this novella is actually helpful at all within this series and whether or not it's actually needed, I think it's definitely needed because there is a lot in terms of Link's perspective that I would really, really like to see. The only problem with that, though, is that it's not truly from Link's perspective. It is all written from Ethan as if it's like a diary entry after he has been told all this stuff by Link, and I would have really liked it better if it was truly from Link's perspective. That way there could be a lot more developed in this story, because I feel like there was so much left out in terms of how Link was feeling as this transformation was happening that could have easily been done if it was just purely from Link's perspective. I do understand, though, the reasoning of not putting it in Link's perspective, because the entirety of the series is in Ethan's perspective, to my knowledge. I don't know about the spin-off novels or the prequels, but the main 4 stories are all from Ethan's perspective, and then does kind of delve into Lena's a little bit, but not really until the 4th book, I believe. So it makes sense that they would continue with keeping it in Ethan's perspective. Other than that, I really think that this novella is great for this series and definitely helps with understanding a lot of the different things that incubuses can do, and it does help to establish some of the things that happen now within the rest of the series, as basically the very end of this novella dictates a lot of things that are going to happen now because of the events of Beautiful Darkness, and now kind of moving forward what is going to be happening later. So it does have its purpose. I think, though, that it just needed a little bit more fleshing out, and that could have been done due to Link's perspective as opposed to Ethan's. But overall, this novella for me gets a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is marked 5 on Goodreads, but there were just some small things I wish that would have been a little bit more incorporated. But because this was a 35-page novella, there really wasn't much for me to review, and so I tried to review it to the best of my abilities with making sure that everything, was as perfect as it needed to be. And this was not perfect, but definitely had its great value within it, and I am very happy to have actually read it now for the first time and be able to see how it fits in with the chronology of the entire story. So thank you guys so much for joining me in this review, very short review of Dream Dark by Garcia and Margaret Stohl. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!